Mr. Mayor, Mr. President, Council, I'm David Wagner. I live at 126 West 2nd Street. I'm here solely representing myself as a city resident and a taxpayer. We heard some pretty bleak news from the mayor today and the auditor. That gives me concern. But I am here for a very, 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 very selfish reason. It's my pocketbook. I just got involved in this, and I keep finding information and uncovering information to make me think that we need to back off here. I have with me copies of the purchase contract that was executed. I'm assuming that council has read the purchase contract and knows what's in the purchase contract. Here's what concerns me about the purchase contract. One, I do not know if the city or council has had a real estate attorney look at this purchase contract. Have they or have they not? And is that an appropriate thing to do, Mr. President? Can I question that or not?
Yeah, I don't have that answer.
Okay.
And this is an opportunity for your audience to participate and offer information.
Well, that is a concern of mine.
We encourage citizens that if you want to ask questions, that you really need to contact either administration or council members so you can get those questions answered.
My second item is, can anyone tell me the last time that building was used? It's floating out. I cannot find out from anybody, but I believe it was December of '05. So the building has basically been vacant for 4 years. I'd like to draw council's attention to page 2 of the purchase contract. Midway through, I have it highlighted, and it says, buyer waives their inspection rights. I don't know if you were homeowners, if you've gone through a homeowning process lately, but the federal government urges you to have your property inspected. On page 3, it says the buyer is buying the property in as-is condition, including latent defects. I find that troubling. I find that troubling that, first of all, has the building been inspected recently? Do you have the condition of the roof? Do you have a mold report? Do you have a termite report? Do you have a radon report? Do you have reports on the mechanicals? Do the systems work? And you're asking to commit my money to buy a property that you don't know if the systems work. Generally speaking, that's what inspections are for. First we negotiate the price, and then we have the inspection period. And then as we find out that there are items wrong, then we enter into a negotiation between the buyer and the seller. How are we going to remedy these problems? Has there been a written inspection report on the mechanicals, the roof, termites, mold, radon? Now, I was just handed this today. Floating out in the blogosphere is a figure of about $3,000 a month for utility costs for the AEP building. This is apples and kumquats, the comparison of the two buildings. At $3,000 a month for utilities, that's $36,000 a year. Vice and 208 for electric and natural gas, $26,000 for this building. I'm only saying, why do we need to jump into this with 13 or 14 days left in the month? Why can't this be tabled? Why can't we have these things done? To paraphrase a famous president. Please, City Council, do not commit my tax dollars on a property that you don't know if the systems are working. Thank you.
My name's Carolyn Schaefer. I live at 177 East 4th Street, Chillicothe. Okay, speaking about the AEP building, too many unanswered questions. Why the rush on this again? Listen to the citizens. Table this until all questions are answered. Citizens and taxpayers are not for the city buying another building. We are in a recession. The citizens are speaking. Listen. AEP building should be on a ballot for voters to vote on it. Put it to a vote by including the citizens. If such a good deal, why hasn't someone else wanted to buy this great place?
Anyone else wish to address council this evening? Okay.
My name is Bob Evans. I wasn't going to say anything this evening because I think enough has been said, but I have to question Mr. Wagner's motives. First of all, he is a real estate agent. He uses the same contract that contract was written on, written and prepared by the Ross County Board of Realtors and the local bar association. So he knows everything in that contract, and for him to question it is I think, unfair. Number two, the contract was looked at by your lawyer, Mrs. Tonietti, and Mayor Salzer. They're both lawyers. Number three, when was the last time the building was inspected? The city engineer and his staff have been completely through that building from top to bottom. In addition to Dan Marsh, architect from Columbus, has been through the building and given you all reports as to the condition of the building and so forth. As far as the mechanical systems operating, all Mr. Wagner had to do is call me and ask me. It's not like we don't know each other. The mechanical systems all work. I think I stated last week, if not, or 2 weeks ago, the Friedmans spent $75,000 a year and a half or so ago to put a new cooling tower in the building. The building has been maintained in terms of air conditioning and heating by Accurate Heating and Cooling since the building became vacant when the electric company left. The building, the heating and cooling system, the heating system has been on that whole time. And as you can see when you drive by the building, obviously it hasn't been neglected. As far as when the building was last occupied, there again, all Mr. Wagner had to do was give me a phone call. I can tell him. The electric company moved out in December of '05. After that, and I'm not sure the exact date when they had the flood down in Masseyville, FEMA was in there for a period of, I don't know, Mayor, do you remember, 6 months, 9 months, something like that. They sublet it at that time from the electric company, so we were not involved directly, but they sublet it at that time from the electric company. So again, the systems have all been maintained. The inspection has been done by the city, the engineer, and as far as we know, all systems work. Thank you.
Mr. President? May I respond?
Well, you've had your 5 minutes, sir.
Okay, well, all I want to say is I'm not on city council. I don't need to
Okay.
ask Mr. Evans anything.
I understand.
And I thought we could hope
Sure.
to avoid any odd hominy in the tax.
All you had to do today was give me a phone call.
Okay.
For what reason, Bob?
Okay.
Questions that you
All right.
asked.
I want city council.
Yeah, okay. All right, looks like we have about 2.5 minutes left on the AEP purchase. Anyone else wish to address council? Okay.
Pat Evans.